Hello there, I'm Chef D Malfi, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. This is a really fun show where we make one recipe every single day. These are plant-based recipes that are easy, healthy, and delicious, and we make these recipes straight from my monthly Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. You can download it. We'll put the link in the comment section. And if you have any questions along the way, let a sister know. I'm right here. I can see who's here. Hi. And I want to answer your question. I want to make this easy and fun for you, so just engage as we go along. All right, today is Tuesday after all, and on Tuesdays, we make lunch. Today, we're gonna make a veggie burrito bowl. This is super fast, it's simple, it's healthy, it's delicious, like I mentioned, and it's going to be a part of your daily routine, your weekly routine rather, because it's so flavorful. So let's get into it. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna start prepping the veggies for our veggie saute. Really simple. First couple things that you need are to wash all of your produce. So let me talk you through it and let me get it out of the refrigerator. Oh, it's right here behind me. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna use a lot of different colorful veggies because we love to eat the rainbow. We want the purple onion. We want the yellow bell pepper, the orange bell pepper, the red bell pepper. You wanna wash those up just for all my produce washing police out there. Thank you so much for keeping me on it. And I want to make sure that I'm going to actually just slice these into little strips. And let's get into it. We'll do actually an overhead cam so you can follow along with me. Now, I get this question a lot, especially of the peppers. Which of the peppers is the most nutritious and the most flavorful? And I have to tell you that the most nutritious and the most flavorful out of the peppers, I think, are going to be definitely orange. That's going to be the first. Then next is the yellow, followed by red, followed by then the green pepper. The green pepper tends to have the least amount of flavor, but it is still going to be delicious. It's still going to have a lot of nutrients, but I really like to enjoy the most pigmented of the fruits and vegetables. The more color or pigment the vegetable or produce or fruit, or even for that matter, nuts or seeds and beans and stuff, all of the most pigmented plant foods are the ones with the highest amount of antioxidant properties. So that's actually like a really great kind of tool to remember as you're shopping through the market each week and picking up all of your wonderful produce items for a plant-based diet. Get the most colorful of the bunches. Get the most colorful of everything that you can find. And that is going to allow you to make sure that you're going to get all of the nutrients, the micro and the macronutrients that your body needs without really having to worry at all. All right, so I'm just making these into kind of thin or even like medium-sized thickness pieces or strips. It doesn't matter. You can do a combo of both. And I'm removing as much of that white rib as possible, just kind of pulling it away with my fingers. All right, I'm also going to just get a little bit of EVOO or extra virgin olive oil in my, I'm going to use a pot here, my pot next to me. Now I'm using extra virgin olive oil, but you can use anything that you want. You can use coconut oil, do a full screen if you can, Danny. We'll do coconut oil or olive oil or avocado oil. Any of these are really, really, really great. And I'm only going to use a few tablespoons of this because I really want you to know that these right here, this is a processed food. Even though oil has a lot of healthy components to it, a lot of healthy fatty acids, it is something that we certainly want to eat in moderation, all right? Because it is processed, it's not the actual olive itself, or in the case of avocado oil, it's not the actual fat from the avocado that comes with the fiber. We want to ensure that we're enjoying our oil in moderation. So for all of you whole food plant-based people out there on this live stream or in the community, you know the drill. You probably don't have any oil in your diet, or if you do, you only have a little bit. And if you need to replace any oil to make it whole food plant-based, you can just add a little water. So a couple tablespoons of water to start, and that will be just as great. Kind of steams the vegetables quickly too. All right, so I'm removing the seeds all over my board. Just I'm going to clean as I go. The next thing that I'm going to do is I've added all of the peppers right to my pot. Now, I want to slice up my red onion here, and I'm going to use a full red onion for this recipe. I think the red onion is fantastic. It's one of my favorites. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, it's my favorite onion for sure. I use red onion probably every single day in my cooking, either as a garnish or for my daily salads that I enjoy, whatever. But I love the red onion because it's flavorful and it has that sweet flavor. It's not so like, potent. It's not so spicy as some of the other onions are. So I'm just going to give this a quick slice. These I want to make as pretty thin as I can as I'm moving quickly. And then when you get to the end here, you can actually just move the other direction to make smaller little bits. And I like a combination of both the small bits and the sliced half moon shapes. It's going to add texture variety, and the small bits will kind of like melt away in your saute, which is really great. Okay, I'm going to add these onions, and I want to turn up the heat as high as possible. Whatever heat source you're using, either gas or induction or campfire, however you're cooking this, make sure to turn, uh-oh, our light just went off. Uh-oh, there we go. Sorry about that. It's live, people. And when we're live, you never know what's going to happen. We're just having fun. All right, so I'm gonna like prevent myself from crying right now. I'm doing a little bit of this. This has ever happened to you? You guys, when I was little, I was doing a lot of cooking when I was little. I was like obsessed with cooking at a very young age, like starting at the age of like 4 or 5. And I would always cry whenever I had to, like, you know, slice the onions, or, and maybe in my case at that young, like tear the onions. Whoo! Oh no. And my grandmother used to say, Danielle, here's the trick. You actually want to, I'm going to do off the camera while I blink my way out. You actually want to put a piece of bread in your mouth. Oh my God, Danny, no. It like tickles my eyeballs. Okay. Listen, I can't let this, I'm not sad. I'm happy, but I cannot let this makeup drip because I got a full beat on, just a full beat. Today I'm giving like no shine as much as possible for my new MAC makeup. You guys, I'm wearing, I got to get a tissue, but keep listening to me. I'm wearing vegan makeup now. I'm wearing makeup that's not tested on animals. Woo! So I've switched my makeup because I'm living a plant-based life. There we go. Okay, back to my story. My grandma, hi, Mom. Hi, Auntie Ree. Is Grandma in the room? Auntie Ree, you need to bring her into this because I'm telling a story. My grandma used to say, all right, Danielle, here's the trick. Here's what you have to do. You need to take a piece of bread and put it in your mouth as you're slicing your onion. I was like, Grandma, that doesn't work. Turns out it actually does. I don't have any bread, though. Oh, I need another piece of tissue. Woo! Sorry about it. Like I said, we're live. Oh. 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 Danny, you're laughing. You're enjoying this too much. Oh, now my nose is running. Excuse me while I just do this back here. Woo! Step in and just like mix that for me. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm in makeup. Excuse me, just in makeup. Give me a second. All right, I'm coming out. Woo! That's my, woo! Holy! All right, makeup just fixed me up as best as it's gonna be for right now. Okay. Woo, that was an intense one. You never know when it's gonna get you. All right, back to it. I used the little hand sanitizer back there for all you, for all the produce police and all the clean police. I love you guys for that. Thank you. All right, I have a little sea salt. I'm just gonna let these veggies weep with a little sea salt, and I need some freshly ground black pepper. Woo! Excuse me. Excuse me. I don't know. I was not expecting that, but here we are. Honestly, it never really hits me that much. I don't know why. Woo! I need a little. I need a little sip of water. Mmm. Mmm. I'm gone. Okay. It's gonna stay with me, I can tell. Okay, we're gonna stay focused. Stay focused, as Tabitha Brown says. Stay focused, y'all. All right, the next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that all of our veggies are getting nice and sauteed. The whole goal here is that I want to get this. I'll show you in the overhead cam. I want a little bit of that char action, yeah? That's what you want. That char action is going to mimic a grill. It's going to mimic fajitas, which is exactly what we kind of like want. This is a burrito bowl after all. So that's good. That's done. Now to this for the next ingredient to this saute, I want to add a couple more things. I want to add some corn. Now I want you to add fire roasted corn if you can find it organic. I couldn't find it organic, so I made some fire roasted corn ahead of time. But here's, oops, wrong way. Here's what I want you to use. Here's organic, super sweet corn. This is frozen, and frozen is actually way more flavorful than regular corn on the cob, generally speaking, because it's actually harvested and then packaged, instantly quick frozen. IQF'd is what it's called, instantly quick frozen at its peak time. So I have a cup of this here. We'll do the overhead can, Dan. And I've actually roasted it to make it kind of charred up in my pan, all right? So I've done that already. I'm gonna add this right into my saute. Whew, yeah, let's do a question.
I feel mine too.
You do, Danny? I bet Boo Boo does too, our doggy. Okay, it's my mom. Hi, Mom. I'm not using oil and I don't want my vegetables soggy. What's the trick to using water? Good question. There is quite a trick. And I will say, well, I love that you're not using oil this week. I wonder why, Mom. Are you just trying it? My mom is reading this new book called The Starch Solution. So I think it has something to do with this new book she's reading. Check it out. I haven't started reading it yet, but I'm going to. If you want to use water instead of oil, what you want to do is add the water to the pan or the pot and then let it kind of like steam or simmer a little bit so it'll get nice and bubbly. Then add your vegetables. And then as soon as you add your vegetables, it'll like start to steam right away, as opposed to sort of letting the water be cold and hit the pan and then come up to temp. What will end up happening is it will like the vegetables will absorb the water. So you'll get kind of a soggy vegetable. At the end, all the vegetables, no matter if you use water or oil, are going to be cooked. So they're on that like soggier side, but you want cooked as opposed to soggy, or steamed as opposed to soggy. So best to let that water kind of simmer or bubble first. Good question. Thank you so much. All right, so this is looking good. Let's move on to the next element, all right? We're gonna make some green rice because it's a burrito bowl after all. And to make this green rice, I'm going to just do the actual green base, air quotes, in my food processor, which I have right here. Let me move it to the board so you can see it. All right, so I'm going to do it right here. And to this, I'm going to actually make this green mixture with avocado. And I have a beautiful California avocado right here. This is a Hass, and I love using Hass avocados in my dishes because this is actually a fruit. So remember yesterday I said we're going to be making these veggie burrito bowls that have fruit and veggies. This is the fruit that I was referring to, the mighty avocado. Let me get a spoon. All right, so you want to actually take this avocado, you want one full avocado right into the food processor and just scoop it out of the skin. Make sure your avocado is really nice and soft. All right, next we want to add a little bit of jalapeno. Now I have something to show you. I went to the market to get jalapenos and look what I came back with. You guys, this is huge. I don't know if you can actually tell how big this is. What am I going to... My head. This is huge. Look, okay, here's a can of black beans, which we'll use later. Here's the jalapeno, okay? This is jumbo. And just in case you don't believe that this is actually how it came, this one's washed, this one's not, for all the clean police. Look at this in the bag, a second huge jalapeno. My goodness. I'm not sure what is primo. I'm not sure what happened to this seed, but it thrives. Probably on a plant-based diet. Yes, it's so funny. All right, we're gonna use a little of this jumbo jalapeno, and the recipe calls for 2 jalapenos, but that's because I wrote it like a regular jalapeno size. So that's 2 small jalapenos. For this, I'm just gonna use half of the jumbo. I'm gonna put the food processor down and I'll move it in a second. All right, so I've sliced this. Be careful not to touch your eyes here, right? I've sliced it. I'm going to open it up. I'm just going to use this part. I'm going to remove all of the seeds and the ribs. Very important to remove the seeds and the ribs here. Those can go right into your compost bin. If you don't remove this part, you are in for a spicy surprise, my friends. All right, this avocado, I keep saying avocado. This jalapeno is going to be super spicy, I can tell, because I'm starting to get weepy eyes again. The jalapeno will do that the same way as the onion. Yeah, you want to rinse your jalapeno first. Absolutely. Throw in your jalapeno pieces right to the food processor. Now I'm going to add 3 garlic cloves, which I have right here. And I want to release that antiviral, antifungal property. So I'm going to whack it. This is the one way to do it. You take your chef's knife, right? And then really on your board, you take it and you give it a whack. I'll do it 3 more times, 2 more times. I might have to do it twice on this one. Give it a whack. Oh, that's good. This is what my Nana used to teach me. All right, we've talked about my granny. Now I'm talking about my Nana. Here we go. I've got a Jewish grandmother and I've got a Sicilian Nana. I have it all. Best of both worlds. I'm very lucky. May Nana Rose rest in peace. May she always. And may her memory be a blessing. All right, so I am going to just grab, Danny's laughing. I just love you, babe. I'm going to grab all of the skins off. And when you do this, you're actually ripping all of the skins off, and you're actually ripping through the molecules of the garlic when you press it like this or when you crush it. And that actually activates the allicin. Allicin is spelled A-L-L-I-C-I-N, and that's the property that makes the garlic so potent and so healthy for us. All right, the next thing we need is 1 cup of cilantro. I'm going to grab that out of the refrigerator. Ooh, those look good. Now, you know me, I always talk about holding fresh herbs. I hold my fresh herbs in a vase here. This parsley is needing a little bit of love. We're going to take care of that later. Here's the cilantro. What I do, you guys, is as soon as I bring my fresh herbs home from the market, I put this right into a vase or a mason jar, glass, because it'll keep it cold, and then fill it up with water. This will stay in your refrigerator for a very long time. Like I'm talking 2, sometimes 3 weeks. Grab your kitchen shears to keep everything intact. And all you need to do, you want 1 cup of the cilantro, is literally snip off a big handful cup. I rinse these before they go into the vase, just lightly, and then I do this. I shake them out. I seriously do in my kitchen. I shake them out. Everything gets a little bit of like dripping, a little bit tiny drips of water. Boo loves it. All right, do that. All right, I have got my cup in there. I need 2 limes juiced. Got some beautiful juicy limes. In order to really make sure that these limes are perfectly juicy enough, I want to roll them on my board. This is going to bring all that juice to the surface as soon as I slice it to the edges or the skin, and it warms it up too. So it's easier to juice when it's warm. That is looking good. Get my juicer. I love these things. These things are so handy. Then juice it right in. You could use lemon juice if you don't have lime juice, but only 1 lemon. You could also do a combination of 1 lemon and 1 orange if that's all you had, and that would actually make this sweeter, just slightly sweet. Don't think of it like a dessert, of course. Think of it more as like just a sweet element or a dimension of flavor that's kind of different and unique. And then the last thing that we need is 1/4 of a cup of water. I did say it right. Oh, it is. I just lost my water. I'm going to just grab a little bit more. 1/4 of a cup of filtered water. Right in. All right, and that's it. You can add a little sea salt. You can add a little pepper, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to keep it really clean. Pulse that up. Now, the goal here is to keep it kind of chunky. You don't need it to be super smooth, or I don't at least. You can actually let this go as far as you need it to go, but I will show you this sauce in the overhead cam. And let me just pull it up. There we go. You can see a little chunk, right? This is looking great. Now, all I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to mix it in with some rice, but in a second. Let me go back to these veggies. Oh, this is smelling so darn delicious. Oh my gosh. You can see I have it pumped on a high heat because I really want it to work. I really want all of my veggies to get nice and tender. This is nearly there. I think the last thing that I want to do is throw in 1 can of black beans. Now, this is 1 15-ounce can of black beans. I've rinsed them and I've drained them, and I do that to release 1/3 of the amount of the sodium. Here are the black beans that I use. These are USDA organic as per this label. And you really want to rinse your beans, especially if they're canned. When they're canned, they are usually brined in a salt solution. And so if you rinse them, it's really going to help. Now, in this case, this is going to be our protein. The black beans are going to add a ton of protein and also a ton amount of antioxidants. So think about it. In the bean family, this is one of the most pigmented beans there is. So it's the black bean. Okay, I'm going to cover it just to create a little bit more steam. That's almost done. Let's come right back to our green rice. Couple things that I want to offer. If you are gluten-free, you don't have to actually do this recipe with rice. I'm going to use brown rice today, short grain brown rice that is already steamed off. But you actually can use organic cauliflower rice. If you are into something that's actually gluten-free and just as delicious, I recommend the organic riced cauliflower or cauliflower rice. This is a frozen item and it is wonderful. I'm just going to throw it right back into the freezer so I don't lose it. I was thinking about doing it that way today, but I decided, nah, that's okay. I'll do it the way that the recipe is written in the cookbook. All right, placing this out. The blade needs to come out. I'm going to take this. Danny, let's do an overhead, will you? Because my hands are dirty. A big overhead. Okay, that's great. And I'm just going to throw in the green sauce for the green rice. You can also do a combination of brown rice and cauliflower rice, which would be fantastic. I like to do that sometimes if I want the starchiness. All right, and give this a mix. This looks so good. Oh man, this looks killer. Now, this is one of these things, the longer it sits, the better it gets. We're gonna eat it today, of course, because I can't wait. But if you have leftovers, this is a wonderful recipe for meal prepping. Yeah. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you and have you. Good to see you. All right. This is one of my favorites as well. It's a fast go-to meal. It totally is. I'm really glad that you mentioned that because as I was just saying, perfect for meal prepping. Any meal preppers out here on the line that are watching? I love the meal prep community. I adore them. I'm actually friends with one of the Meal Prep on Fleek founders, and I was the face of their master class or course. If you take that, I narrate the whole thing and I kind of teach it. And I love meal prepping. We don't necessarily do it in the home because I cook live every single day, so we always have something fresh kind of on hand. My husband's a very lucky person, but I know that's not the case for most households, and that's okay. Meal prepping is your friend. You want to get in the habit of making sure you make just maybe a little bit more. They say you can cook once and eat twice or 3 times. That's a great saying in the meal prep community. So cook once, eat twice, eat 3 times, eat 4 times. It's really saving you a lot of time. What's that?
Explain meal prepping.
Okay, what is meal prepping for people that are unfamiliar? It's the act of cooking your meals and making them bulk or bulk batch cooking, and then prepping them out in little containers so that you have ready to go meals in your refrigerator, ready to either heat up or eat cold anytime that you need a meal. And so it's really kind of, it helps you to maintain a really healthy diet throughout the week so you don't have to stop and cook every meal as needed. It's really great. All right, the last thing that we need to do is we need to make a quick pico de gallo, and this is really, really quick. I'm gonna grab a bowl. Actually, I'll do a larger bowl for this. And for a quick pico, you definitely want a few important ingredients. The recipe in the book calls for cherry tomatoes or plum tomatoes, which I have some of right here. So I'm going to use a little bit of those, but I also really love pico de gallo that has these are early girl tomatoes. Look how gorgeous this is, right? These are called early girls. And they're called early girls because they're I believe, because they're harvested a little early. And what you end up with is this beautiful kind of very sort of dark red color. Can you guys really get that? And it's super sweet. So these are organic. I always recommend buy organic tomatoes if you're enjoying tomatoes here in the United States. It's a very important thing. We know for sure that that soy, corn, and tomatoes here in the United States are all genetically modified crops or seeds. So they're starting with seeds that are GMO'd or genetically modified. Now that's not always bad. Sometimes it's just fine and it just helps to produce more crop yields. But what we know for sure is that we don't have enough information to know what a GMO product does in the body. And so what we're finding with the little research that we have done is that it can actually wreak quite a bit of havoc on the digestive tract or the gut, brain, and gut belly. And the gut, brain, and gut belly is incredibly important for our health. Some of you are probably thinking, well, how can she speak to all of this? She's a chef. I'm not just a chef. I'm also an integrative nutrition health coach, FYI. So if you're wondering where I'm getting all this information, it's because I studied this for a couple of years at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. It was one of my dreams. I need to use my serrated knife. It was one of my dreams to actually become an integrative nutrition health coach and an integrative nutrition chef. which I did. And that became a wedding gift to myself last year before I got married. I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to spend the year before I get married and I'm going to gift myself this experience. And it was unbelievable. If there's anyone out there that's interested in learning more about IIN, I would love to talk to you about it. It was wonderful. It's a wonderful school based in New York City. And they have an amazing digital program, all done via computer. Wonderful, amazing opportunities to be with your classmates digitally, just like we're doing now in the pandemic world that we're living in. And it was great. These tomatoes are also full of lycopene, okay? And that's the wonderful nutrient that's in red foods. And it's going to really be super great for our heart health. And I just love it. The indigenous people used to say, we know that they used to predict that tomatoes were good for the heart because they kind of look like hearts and they're red and they have a chamber inside that are the ribs. Isn't that kind of cool? Turns out they were right. All right, the next thing that we need is a small red onion. Oh, I used all my red onion. We're going to skip that. We're going to then use a little bit of cilantro and a little bit of lime juice. I'm going to grab my cilantro once more. Darn it, I used my red onion. I should have saved some. I'm just going to grab a tiny bit of the cilantro, probably half a bunch, half a cup. Give this a rough chop. And remember, this is a quick pico, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want all the flavors. A little bit of sea salt, of course, and a little bit of lime juice. I have one more lime right here. I'm going to do that same trick. Give it a roll, give it a slice, and give it a squeeze. I love fresh pico. Fresh pico is so good. There we go. All right. We are nearly there. Let's give this a mix. Yummy. So good. Got our fresh pico. Now all we need to do is plate it up. All right. This is going to be the fun part. I have a little bit of romaine lettuce, organic, that I've rinsed. I've dried. Most importantly, when you rinse lettuce, make sure you dry it. Let me clear the decks. And then I'm going to plate up. First thing that we're going to do is we need a big bowl before we plate. In our last couple of minutes here, I'm going to then take my green rice. This will be on one side of the plate, or basically the holder of the other ingredients. And I like to just take a mound, about a cup of this. Let's check on our veggies and beans. OMG, I wish you were here to smell this. Smells unbelievably good. I'm just going to grab a little scoop of this mixture. Oh my gosh, this looks divine. Plate it up. Perfect. And we can move things around here in a second, but let me finish plating. I'll do a little bit of the romaine on the side, and then on the other side, some of the pico. So you're just kind of making this bowl as full as possible and as lovely as possible. And then you know the old chef's trick. If you didn't plate clean, and everything kind of like slopped around the sides, just like I did, you can just give it a little quick kiss with the paper towel around the edges. And there you have it. One amazingly flavorful, delicious, and I think eating the rainbow style veggie burrito bowl. This is outrageously good. So colorful. I don't think anybody would refuse eating this. This is really, really yummy. I'm going to grab a fork. I brought one out already. And I'm going to dive in. I just need to taste this because I need to make sure, well, quality control. So, a little beans, a little green rice, a little pico. Yum. Mmm. Mmm. unbelievably good. So tender. The vegetables are perfectly cooked. The beans add just a nice meatiness to it. A round body, full flavor. The green rice is killer. I would have that on anything. Absolutely delicious. The pico is outstanding. I think I'm going to add red onion as soon as we finish. This is really good. I hope that you'll try this. And if you do try it, take a photo, please, and send it to me at our Plant-Based Made Easy Facebook group. You guys, we are over 1,000 people strong all over the world. We have people coming and joining us. We have people from Ireland, Spain, Israel, Abu Dhabi, the United States, Thailand. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope that you'll come back for more, because tomorrow is Wednesday. And Wellness Wednesdays, we always make dinner. We're going to make green chili and jackfruit tacos. It is a must-try recipe. And if I don't see you tomorrow, know that all of this content is evergreen. It's always available to you at any time. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao for now.